At CUHK, we believe that strong research begins with strong research data practices.
The Data Champion program empowers students and staff across all faculties to lead the way to promote research data management best practices.
As data champions, we connect researchers with effective data management practices, share insights within a growing cross-faculty community, and help build a culture of responsible data stewardship.
Together, we contribute to a more open, collaborative, and data-savvy research environment at CUHK.
As part of the program, we participate in regular process sharing meetings and attend training sessions organized by the CUHK Library.
We also contribute to the development of training materials that support RDM efforts. Within each faculty, we collaborate on a range of initiatives aimed at advancing research data management and addressing the specific RDM needs of our research communities.
In addition, we contribute to Data Matters, CUHK's RDM e-bulletin, which highlights best practices and showcases the evolving landscape of research data at the university. Through these combined efforts, the Data Champions program continues to foster a culture of excellence in research data management across CUHK.
My key takeaway is that good research data management is fundamentally about research integrity, efficiency, and collaboration, not just administrative compliance.
This year, I learned that a data management plan, or DMP, is basically a roadmap for how you handle data, what you collect, where you store it, who can access it, and how long you keep it, and how you share it responsibly.
My take-home was the fact that the RDM tool needs to be tailored in order to be faculty-specific or department-specific, since different faculty work with different kinds of data.
We have learned to understand research data management in a much more comprehensive way, not just from the perspective as a user, but also from the perspective of a developer. As data champions, we are actively involved in formal initiatives that curate the best practices, such as suggesting enhancements to the DMP template to make it easier for use for our CUHK community.
My biggest takeaway is that good data management is not only a technical science. It is really about daily habits and clear teamwork.
I promoted good RDM at the Faculty of Arts by co-organizing a workshop series that framed RDM as a research strength, not just compliance. We invited guest speakers to present their humanities research and demonstrate their own data organization, sharing, and preservation methods. We wanted to show how research could be done effectively and efficiently, how data could be shared openly and responsibly, and how the research could increase the impact and longevity of their work, making the principles of RDM tangible and directly relevant. This approach led to strong attendance and practical engagement that peers at the Faculty of Arts truly appreciated.
Approaching persons in a friendly way can be one of the most effective ways of promoting the RDM in CUHK. I'm a very free person. I like to meet people and I love to discuss. I can say I had met more individuals on an informal note by just walking to them during lunchtime or just meeting them at the walkway, stopping them and just saying a hi. And if I'm permitted to continue the conversation, I'm able to ask about what research they are doing, how they manage their data, how they save their data. And before you know what's going on, we are discussing about RDM and how to incorporate the DMP tool in CUHK.
I talked with peers to understand what problems they face, like messy folders, missing documentation, or confusion about severe versions. Then, I worked with the CUHK Library to run an RDM workshop for our faculty. In the workshop, we used simple examples like how to name fields, how to store data safely, and how to prepare a dataset for sharing or deposit. After that, I also followed up with people who had questions about their own projects.
I focused on practical, low-barrier interventions. For example, I organized a workshop to introduce the DMP tool and CUHK data repository to new students. In addition, I engaged in peer discussions with colleagues to brainstorm effective methods to handle data, such as Git. This practical, relatable example sparked great discussion and led to 3 lab members setting up a repository for their current projects.
We tried to conduct a brief need analysis on research data management practices in our faculty. Although the response rate was not as high as we had hoped to, we were glad to know that beyond the mandatory Blackboard course, there is still a need to deepen our understanding about day-to-day practices of RDM within the faculty. In other words, people are seeking for more practical and contextual support from us as data champions.
The biggest challenges were that guidance can feel fragmented and hard to find exactly when the student need it. And many students see the DMP as paperwork rather than something that protects their work.
We data champions encountered similar challenges, but one issue was especially profound in the Faculty of Arts: the divide of methodologies between the traditional scholars and those adopting quantitative or digital humanities methods. At first sight, RDM did not seem compatible with interpretive and qualitative nature of much humanities work. We had to figure out how to ground RDM principles in common scholarly values such as rigor, transparency, and preservation.
One challenge that we definitely encountered was getting the buy-in and participation from our students and colleagues. Sometimes we put time into designing the activities or surveys, and the response was far lower than you hoped to have, which can be very discouraging. But with the continued support from the library team and my fellow data champions, I started to see these moments less as a failures, but more like a stepping stones for us to succeed. It trained me to adopt a more problem-solving and hypothesis-driven mindset, to ask why the students are not engaged, and act like a researcher while promoting RDM as well.
The big challenge is time. People are very busy, so to me feel RDM is actual work. Another challenge is that education research has many data types, like surveys, interviews, and school data. So one solution does not fit all. Also, sensitive data is common in our field, so people worry about privacy and what can or cannot be shared.
The primary challenge was addressing the perception of RDM as a burdensome extra task. Some peers and senior researchers viewed it as paperwork that slowed down real research. To overcome this, I shifted my approach from talking about compliance to highlighting crisis prevention. For example, this metadata template will save you hours when you need to recreate the graph in 6 months. Or a good file structure will save your project if your lab members graduate.
Presently, we have met peers from very different disciplines across CUHK, and we probably would not have met each other without this program. Having a structured, purpose-driven role as a data champion makes it much easier to build a sense of community around research data use while appreciating differences in perspective about research.
Academically, I can say that the data champion has empowered me to understand the importance of metadata, because this, I believe, can foster collaboration beyond just the faculty, at the departmental level, regional level with other institutions, and even at the international level with colleagues and researchers far and abroad.
Professionally, the program deepened my understanding of RDM, from a compliance checklist to an important foundation for rigorous, reproducible, and impactful research. The hands-on experience of coordinating workshops, facilitating the Recode reading group, and networking across the university has been invaluable.
Start with one thing today. Don't try to overhaul everything at once. For instance, name your files For sorting, use the format data project description version. This way, it automatically sorts chronologically. Another example, just create a README file in every project folder. Just note the project's purpose, key contacts, how the data was collected, and any abbreviations. Update it as you go. Also use the CUHK's institutional resources. Don't struggle alone. Engage with libraries, research support services, and ITS for advice on how to store your data, sharing, and preservation. Like the CUHK Research Data Repository, they are here to help.
My main tips are: start your DMP early, ideally before data collection. Keep it updated as the project changes, and make clear decisions about storage, access, control, file naming, and retention.
I have a few simple tips. Start early. Do not wait until the end of the project. Use clear folder structures for the whole project. Keeping raw data, clean data, and the NAS fields separate.
Obviously, one would say that RDM alone wouldn't win you a Nobel Prize tomorrow, but a poor RDM will cost you time, credibility, and collaboration. The 10 minutes you will spend documenting today prevents 10 hours of debugging tomorrow. So start with one habit that solves our frequent frustration. Take your RDM seriously and begin by creating a DMP.
2 quick RDM tips. First, use the DMP tool. It's readily customized by CUHK by the library and us data champions. You can easily use the template with the clear instructions. We also encourage you to reach out to the RDM team within the library, who are super helpful and resourceful if you encounter any challenges. A special call out for undergraduate students as well. If you are considering a research path, begin to engage with RDM practices now. Several journals actively promote research on data management practices and welcome undergraduate submission with proper data management through an alternative track. You may get your thesis published with a shorter yet equally rigorous peer review process. This can definitely be a significant milestone that opens you to more opportunities in your research journey.